Hello and welcome to the garage. Today we're here in the garage with the Model Y, and as you recall, I got a flat tire coming back from Wyoming on the 4th day driving through Knoxville. I had a little trouble. I ended up pulling off the road. I installed my modern spare. It got me to go to several tire stores, and I was not able to find a compatible tire for the one I had the bracket stuck in. Today we're going to do a little analysis of why this spare tire was causing this back right brake to get hot. The car noticed that there was something weird here with this back right tire. The indication showed that it had no air. However, the traction control in the brains of the car was trying to allow me to get to safety or wherever I had to go. And to do that, the traction control was using the brake in the back right-hand corner here to adjust the speed on the left-hand side, and that's the way differentials work, to keep my speed at wherever I was going, allowing me to get to safety or a place that I could repair the tire. And I'm going to try to determine if it was a diameter problem, if the car thought perhaps maybe the diameter was low. Maybe by having higher revolutions in the back right, it determined that maybe the tire was running flat, which of course the diameter shrinks when that happens. I have a brand new modern spare that was just sent to me by the folks at Modern Spare, and I told them that I would analyze the problem, so let's get into it. Let's now measure the diameter of my original modern spare. See, I gotta go right across the tire. All right, well, let's measure this now, that these are on the exact outer part of the tire. And I will give it to you in English. I measure 27, and looking straight down, 5/16. That's 27 inches and 5/16. Okay? So now let me grab the new modern spare, and let's measure that one. Okay, here's the replacement modern spare. We'll do the exact same thing. 27 3/4 of an inch. So that's 27 inches and 3/4 more. So one being 27 5/16, this is 27 inches and 3/4. So that is the difference. Now that is not a whole lot different than the modern spare. So this is going to be interesting. We're going to discover this at the same time. I haven't pre-done all this. We've just measured it now. So I actually have an original size tire here like on the Model Y. I'm going to go get that, and just for fun we're going to measure the diameter of a regular tire right here. I kept the damaged tire, and we're now going to measure the diameter of the damaged tire. And of course you can see the damage here with the puncture. So let's measure this. Stand up here, see if I can find proximate center. That's about it there. Put these guys where they need to be. And I'm going to measure the diameter of this tire. Okay, so the diameter of the tire actually looks like 27.5 inches. So it's actually just a 1/16 of an inch, make that a 1/8 of an inch larger than the modern spare. So this leads me to believe that maybe the diameter isn't the problem, but the traction control in the Tesla was tricked because it still showed the tire pressure sensor in this tire as being flat. It may have noticed a slight difference. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to take the replacement back right tire off, and we are going to put the new modern spare on, and we're going to take it for a ride. Recap. The modern spare that I used was 27 5 5/16 of an inch. The new modern spare is 27 3/4 of an inch. The original appears to be 27 1/2. So it's all within a very small range. My experience says I don't believe that the traction control can detect such small variances, but I may be wrong. We're going to go find out. All right, well, let's get this main tire in the back right off. We're going to now put on the modern spare. Okay, all the caps are off. Now, modern spare says 5 lug nuts. You want the lug nut to line up with the spoke, okay? And this gives us the maximum strength. So that's what we're going to do. We'll get this here. Get the bullseye going, just like that. You never want to use your power tool to start a lug nut. It might cross thread and then you're going to have a very bad day. So I usually take the socket, stick it on, and thread it on by hand. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to run it on clockwise here, just enough as you hear the impact wrench. We just run it in across from each other, just enough. We're not going crazy, and we just want to make sure they're all tight. Okay, now we can lower the wheel onto the ground. Okay, so let's try this now. The tire is on the ground. We're going to stick this in. Okay, you see it twists a little, and it only goes so far. Okay, now let's see if the torque bar worked. All right, this is a 150-pound torque wrench, which has a finer adjustment than that big guy. So this has been calibrated. I know that it's accurate. I'm going to do a little Flear here before we leave, and we'll see what the temperature of the starting brake rotor is. Okay, let's have a look here. What you're seeing, of course, is the my reflection off of the shiny surface here, and you can see my hand in the reflection. I'm going to get it at a different angle. You actually see my leg now. So let me get that all out of the way. Yeah, there's my leg again. Come on. And it's looking at 23.3 degrees centigrade, okay? It is not hot at all. So let's take this guy for a ride and we'll see what we get when we get back. Okay, I need 2 dog testers. Who wants to go? Come on, let's go. Well, my 2 testers are finally in. Hank, I don't know what's up with him, but whatever. Have a seat, guys. We're going. All right, so all's good so far. I'll let my foot off the accelerator just up here. And the car drives straight. Okay, a little bias to the right. I assume there's less traction in the back right. At this point, I have no errors or warnings on the screen, which indicates that all is good. we'll get back to the garage and do a little analysis here and see what's going on. No tire pressure indicated in the front right. But before I reset the TPMS to recalibrate which wheel is what, because this is the same configuration I had in Knoxville, I'm going to see what's going on. All right, this is the modern spare wheel. Now I'm going to try the hot test. Here you go, listen. Nope, I can touch the rotor, no trouble. So other than the size difference, this modern spare doesn't create any issues. Now, I'm going to do one additional thing. I'm going to take my wheel that I took off and I'm going to lower the pressure, okay? This will be the exact same conditions as I had before, and I'm going to put it in with Hank and Luna. So the car will see it as being very low in pressure, and we'll see what goes on. Now remember, for whatever reason, I had the TPMS not reset, and which made it look different. So I don't know. We're going to try that experiment next. Let me go grab the wheel. I'll put it in the car here with the pups. We'll take another ride. But you can see I can put my fingers onto the rotor and there is no brake dragging going on. So let's try another test. All right, I've got the deflated tire now in the back with the pups. We're in dog mode. Don't you wish you had dog mode? The pups are happy. Okay, dog mode's on. We're going to head now for a trip. And we'll see what's going on here. All right, we're back on the road here. We've got the deflated tire, the back right tire in the car. Now, TPMSs generally don't activate unless the tire is rolling. And I was hoping maybe the bumps or something might make it happen. I'm not sure how to do that simulation, but we're gonna run up to the end here and see if we have any difference. Okay, here we go. I'm going to take my foot off of the accelerator and let go of the steering wheel. Let's see what happens here, okay? Okay, it pulls to the right slightly, and I would expect that being the back right tire is the spare. But I don't see anything abnormal here. I don't see any warnings for traction control or anything on the screen. It all looks good here. All right, the right back doesn't show up properly here. It's shown on the front, but it's not rotating, so therefore it's not showing the pressure that it's set to, which is set to 20%. Yeah, the back right is in the car. It's not rotating, so it's not sending anything to the receiver. So we're unable to actually see the pressure here. But it's okay. I'm going to go measure the rotor now and see if it's changed at all. All right, let's get this updated modern spare off. And we'll put the original one back on. Right there, you see the flashy light? Yep. See, now it's in freewheel. It's, in fact, it's like in cruise control. I don't even have my foot on the accelerator, and it's driving by itself. I didn't put it in cruise and anything else. I'm gonna put the brake on here now. Slow it down. Look at that, it's in cruise control by itself, even though it's not. Or it's in, actually it's in, what do you call it, freewheeling. Okay, you see the traction control icon? So that tire is just small enough that it's causing trouble. How about that? Doesn't take much diameter change, but that tire that I had is just too small. So we'll drive up here and turn in and then get this thing off. I would bet that it's really pulling on that back brake now. You hear the ABS popping on and off. So I think we're good. But I guarantee you that back brake is getting hot. We're going to find out here. Especially with the ABS popping on and off, as you saw. See, there it is there. See it? So the diameter of the tire is everything. The TPMS is nothing. Doesn't care about that. And we're in traction control mode with that blinking icon. This tire is just ever so slightly smaller than the new one that I got. And it's tricking the traction control out into thinking there's an issue. How about that? Who would know? I'm going to measure the circumference. That is the outer diameter's circumference of the tires, and see what might be different. It might be right on the raggedy edge of the traction control where it's thinking there's a problem. And I guarantee you that I'm starting to heat that brake up. So we're going to pull in right here and take a look at it. You hear that clicking sound? That's the ABS here popping off, I would bet. Listen. That's the same exact sound I heard in Knoxville. Oh yeah, and I can feel it putting the brakes on and taking them off as I roll here about 9 miles an hour. It is terribly unhappy. Each time it puts it on, it slows me down. So that little differential in the diameter of the tires is enough to trick the traction control. So let's get this in the garage. We'll do some measurements. Okay, confirmed with the Flear. It's 130 some degrees centigrade. Now listen, I'm gonna put my finger on it with some spit on it. There you go, listen. It's hot. Listen again. Yeah, I would say that's awful hot. So, confirmed. Let me get this spare off here and the real tire back on and air it up, and we'll do a recap. All right, I've put the jack underneath. We'll go ahead and pull the old modern spare off here. I've cracked the wheels already here now while it's still on the ground. Okay, let's jack it up and take this baby off here. Okay. Got Jimmy right. Any good. We good. It's good. Prisoner. Don't forget to take the puck out. Tell you a story. When we were racing the Model 3 up Pikes Peak with our driver Blake Fuller, we were doing some initial testing, and we would raise the car and we'd have 4 pucks with 4 of these type of jacks. And when it was time, we'd put heaters around the wheels or around the tires and keep them nice and warm. When it was time to go, we'd tear off the heaters and lower the car, and off it would go. Well, Blake did a whole run up Pikes Peak, a test run, with 4 pucks stuck in the bottom of the Model 3. So you always want to try to remember to remove these guys. Okay, car's back in order. I'm not going to test it on camera, but let's recap this thing. As you saw from my trip video on the 4th day, I got a flat in the back right tire. I put the modern spare that I've been carrying around. I was able to go to 3 auto places where they repair tires. None of them had this size of tire. I noticed that the brake back here was getting extremely hot as it was dragging. My original takeaway is perhaps whatever I'd run over dragged and ripped out some of the brake lines in the back right of the car. So I didn't want to go too far. So what I did is I ended up after the 3rd tire store, and they didn't have any. I called Tesla Roadside Assistance. Actually, I used my app. They responded right away. They dispatched a rollback. It arrived within 40 minutes. It took me over to the Tesla Service Center in Knoxville, Tennessee. They had a tire. They took the car. They had it repaired in 50 minutes, and I was on my way. So that worked out all right. So the problem that I ran into was this brake appeared to be dragging. Well, it turns out that I called to Modern Spare. They were quite interested in my dilemma, and they ended up sending me a slightly larger tire. And as we measured earlier, it wasn't that bigger of a tire. I think the original Modern Spare was 27 5/16 of an inch. The Modern Spare was 27 3/4, and the original tire was a little less than that. So we did some experiments today, and as you saw, when I put the original diameter Modern Spare on, which was just ever so slightly smaller, it would cause the traction control, as you saw on the screen, to activate this brake to allow more energy to go into the left wheel. At least it thought that, and it caused the brake to drag. The new Modern Spare that I got that was just ever so slightly larger in diameter, there's no issues. We drove it, it's absolutely fine. So the takeaway here is that the original Modern Spare for the Model Y, having very close tolerances on their traction control, you'll need to make sure that the Modern Spare that you do have, this particular tire is a Continental for your Model Y, and you shouldn't have any trouble. Now, the only caveat, of course, is this is a performance Model Y. I don't have a regular Model Y, and I would assume that the traction control is similar. It may not be the same since it's not a performance car. I don't know. I couldn't speak to that. However, they did send me the new tire. I did check it. All is well. I'll go ahead and return my Maxxis tire that was on it, which is ever so slightly smaller. But that's the bottom line. After getting a flat, and if I would have had the larger spare, even though you're not supposed to drive hundreds of miles, I could have probably driven home the 128 miles with the new Modern Spare tire and be able to get home and deal with all the tire stuff here. but because of the issue with the traction control, I had to find a spare local to Knoxville. And of course, the Tesla Service Center was there to do that. So there you go. It was a long video, it was a lot of detail, maybe way more than you wanted to hear, but at least now you know something relative to the traction control in the car and what you need for tires. If you like this video, go ahead and click the like, click subscribe, and don't forget to click the bell icon to not miss any of the videos going forward. If you'd like to buy yourself a Tesla, the referral link shown here at the bottom of the screen gets you 1,000 miles or 1,500 kilometers of free supercharging. You need to click the link and make your order from the link so that you get proper credit when you do order your Tesla. Thanks for watching. I'll look for you again, and take care.